Welcome to episode 365 of the Game Deflators podcast. My name's John, and I am joined by a mime named Ryan.
Hey, everybody, here at the Game Deflators podcast, we like to talk about games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and happy Halloween in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
Does this episode come out on Halloween? I didn't even check the calendar.
No, but it's Halloween week. Halloween's on a Friday. We come out on a Monday.
Okay. Well, that works out.
It's Halloween all month, John. Get in the spirit.
Well, his intro didn't give away the game this week, as it normally does. We are playing Dino Crisis on the PS1, but what else are we talking about?
So Sony says, no, you can't have any of our mushrooms or dinosaurs. Then Xbox's best days and lowest prices are behind it. Will it rise to become king of the consoles or face extinction? And then we have a Dino Crisis.
And then we have a Dino Crisis. I love it. So you can find us on thegamedeflators.com. You can also find us on Twitter or X at Game Deflators, and then at The Game Deflators on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and Blue Sky. We're also on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that little bell or notification thing so you know when we're on. Lots of good shorts and gameplay and old videos and things of that nature. In fact, with this being episode 365, you have 1 day of content for the entire year. So start catching up now. Be great. And I don't know what else I had. Oh, we're a podcast. So go ahead and listen to us on your favorite podcast application. Leave 5-star reviews. We really love those. And let's dig into our recent pickups. All right. I picked up a copy of Arena of the Ancients from Chronicles MTG card. And so this one is
that a good one?
Yeah, so this is for commanders. It says when Arena of the Ancients comes into play, tap all legends. Legends do not untap during your controller's untap phase. So basically, this says screw all your commanders. That's kind of what it says on the table. So it's one of those cards that if somebody at the table has, like, I don't know, some crazy dragon commander and can blaze you for like 10 damage every turn, this pretty much tells them no. And they would have to destroy it. Most people at the table, if they have a commander, more than likely that commander has a certain ability that, you know, like my Kinnan deck, right? Kinnan's ability triggers, right, with certain things that are on the field, like I can add extra mana. So I don't care if he's tapped or not. But this particular card would screw a lot of people over. So, yeah, it's pretty
Nice.
cool. Yeah, and then more lands. So I don't think I told you this. Some more Bloomburrow lands that came in. So I had an order that I had placed. And the guy, you know, said, oh, yeah, I sent it. Well, it arrived like a week after the time it was supposed to come through. And so I go through it, and the guy didn't send me any foils. He just sent me like non-foil. I'm like, okay, well, screw you, man, because you basically got like $1 per foil and sent me 10-cent cards instead.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I let the seller know after the fact. And it was like, okay, yep, whatever. Like, enjoy. Type of deal. So that was it on that one. And then as far as what I am playing right now, I didn't have any video game pickups. So what I'm playing currently is The Witcher. I am, God, what is it? Still in chapter 4. I'm on like some random island with these random fish people right now. I forget the names. But I was put there because it turns out that the princess in, what's it called? The city. Demizia? I don't know. I'm like spacing right now. But she was in league with the Salamandra group, and she was trying to kill Geralt. And so Triss, which is a sorceress that you're in a relationship with, throws me off this island where I have met Dandelion again and am completing missions on this one particular island. I looked at the the walkthrough just to see how many how many tasks and things and quests I would have to deal with on this island. It's actually super short. So should get through it pretty quick and then move on to chapter 5. Chapter 5 is even faster. And then we've got the epilogue. Man. Yeah. So I'm getting there. I'm still enjoying it. So it is still fetch questy. Like the one that I had last night, I met with this fish guy who said, hey, I need you to kill this other fish guy. And it was like, okay, cool. How do we do this? Well, you have to sacrifice a cow. Okay. How? What do I do? And he's like, oh, well, there's a cow in whatever part of the town on this island. Okay, well, what do I do to lure it? Oh, it likes nuts and fruit. It's like, okay. So
What?
I
A cow?
a cow, yeah. So I had to give it nuts and fruit, and then have the cow follow me onto a boat. All right. There's no way a cow is going to get on a damn wooden boat and float to another island. But apparently, we're able to put the cow on the boat. There was no animation for it, which
I
was
mean, what's it gonna do? Swim?
uh, do,
I've never seen a cow
do cows
swim.
swim?
I assume so.
I okay. Now I got to look this up. Like, this always happens when we talk, man. Like, okay, let's look this one up.
All right, folks, let's find out. Place your bets now.
Yes,
Swimming cows or not?
cows can swim. Okay, I mean,
Cool.
honestly, I just never thought about it.
I mean, they look buoyant as hell when you look at them.
They do, but they also tip when they're asleep. So
That's actually
don't they?
just like an urban legend.
Is it really?
Yeah, because cows lay down when they sleep.
Do-
Like the whole thing is that and also cows are crazy heavy. Like the ability for one person to just push over a
Oh.
cow.
Interesting. It is an urban myth. So why do people say they go cow tipping? That's got to be a hint for.
I think it's like a snipe hunt thing.
It's got to
Like
be.
you just get some idiot to do it so that a farmer shoots them.
Or it's a hidden message to go to cow patties and get mushrooms.
Could be.
That could be it too. Okay, well, back to the cow on the boat. There was no animation for the cow getting on Geralt's boat, which definitely disappointed me. But cow follows you off to this like random area where you slay the cow, and then this fish guy comes out, and then he summons more fish guys, and you can't hit the big fish guy, but you have to hit all the fish guys around him. When you finally do that, he dies as well, and then you complete your mission. And then the cow's body is gone. I don't know why it's gone, but it's gone. So that is my update on The Witcher. But it's still a good game. I'm still enjoying it. And that whole thing was a very interesting, that was a very interesting quest. Go slay a cow on an altar and then kill a fish guy. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I watched a very interesting video this last week about The Witcher. It was about their what was it? The river system in The Witcher 3.
Mhm.
And apparently The Witcher 2 and The Witcher 3 both take place along the same river.
Oh, interesting. Well, I mean, I've only played Witcher 1, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if that one's on the same river or not. I think he said maybe not.
Oh, and a city's called Vizima. It just randomly popped into my head. It's Vizima. Okay. I see you have no pickups, so what have you been playing?
Yeah, no pickups. So after playing Silent Hill, we did actually end up watching like all the other endings, and that was just I don't know. It's a little weird when you just kind of watch them all back to back, but it is kind of interesting to see the differences because like there are some places that are a little bit more subtly different, and you probably wouldn't notice that or remember those differences if you had to play like 10 plus hours between each attempt at seeing the ending or whatever if you were really good, I would imagine. So yeah, we did that, and then we were like, yeah, let's play something else spooky, and we were trying to figure something out. I showed her like a trailer for like Little Nightmares because I think Little Nightmares 2 was in the Game Pass,
Mhm.
but it's not multiplayer, which is
Huh.
wild.
Well, I mean,
But apparently 3 is that just came out.
it's a good game, though.
Yeah, I know, but it just I don't know, it wasn't really grabbing her as much. Also, it's like it's such a pain to try to show her things on the Xbox. Like if you go into Game Pass and you try to watch the trailers like through the Xbox themselves, they just look terrible. Like horrible buffering, just the worst like resolution. It just looks horrible. So it's like you have to keep looking at game trailers on like the iPad or something instead and trying to see what's actually available in their horror section. And eventually we landed on trying Dead Space, the remake.
That's not multiplayer, is it?
And no, but it's a little bit more engaging. It has a little bit more of the scary stuff and then also the like kind of handoff and like explory stuff. I don't know. It's just a little bit more in the realm of horror genre that she likes.
Would she like Alien Isolation?
Alien Isolation is something that I've always thought about, but I'm going to have to be playing most of that game. And I was getting stressed enough with just like Mr. X in Resident Evil 2. And that's a whole game just about that. And I just like, having to like avoid something stalking me all the time is something that's just going to get like more stressful and tiresome, and eventually become a game where I'm going to be like, I don't even really want to come back to this right now because I just don't have fun playing it.
Yeah, but like Alien Isolation, you have a like tracker and you can see where the alien is. It's not like, you'd never
Yeah,
know where
it's
it's
not about
at.
not knowing where they are. I just don't like the feeling of being hunted constantly. Like
Gotcha.
it's a stressful type of game environment, and when I'm playing those type of games, it makes me less wanting to go back to the game generally because it's like it's stressful and I'm just like, ah,
And
I'll play
that's
something
and
else.
that's that the game utilizes a microphone as well. So it catches like if you get scared or anything like that or you're
Yeah.
breathing, like yeah, it's actually kind of cool. That was a
Yeah,
that was a
there's a
good game
lot of
though.
yeah, and it is, and it's another one where it's like there's probably like an easy mode too, but it's just I don't know. That's not one that I've ever really I've thought about, but we just haven't played. And actually, that game's like old now. Now that you think about it, it's like I think it's from like 2016 or something. It's almost like a decade old at this point. It's wild because I
Yeah.
still remember that being like the hot horror game, and I'm always surprised that there hasn't been like a sequel to it or something as successful as it was.
Yeah, it was
Because I definitely watched a bunch of people play it.
yeah, it was a fantastic game. I don't remember how long it took. Now, I will say Alien Isolation, it did kind of extend its stay, I guess I would say. It rhymed. So with like where the game ends, I think is a little too much. Like there's a certain point in the game,
You
like
felt like it should have ended sooner.
yeah, like there's a certain point in the game, like I'm like, wow, this is great. And then it goes like another hour, 2 hours of gameplay. I was like, oh, that was
Hmm.
like, and I get it, like what they're doing, and it all like felt very nice when it was all complete. But I would have been very satisfied of just a certain point ending and saying, wow, this is good. But because
Yeah.
it got past, I was like, all right, like I'm just ready to finish this game. So my wife and I were doing a ton of exploring at the time, and we were enjoying the game pretty thoroughly. And then it got to that section of, all right, it's like 2 more hours of gameplay. And we're like, oh my god, like just end this already. So up to that point, it was great, and then it was kind of tedious, and then it ended on a great note as well. So it is what it is, but highly recommended if anybody hasn't played that one yet. I had the director's cut, I think, on the PS4.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot in that game that I think we probably would enjoy, but it would be mostly me.
yeah.
Um
So more about Dead Space though. So how far are you in that, like in
oh,
general?
we played like an hour and haven't gone back to it.
Oh, okay.
It's yeah, it's just it's a little bit more aggressive. So I don't know. I keep trying to convince her that, she would play like Kingdom Hearts on proud mode, which is like I think a challenge. But she's just not as good with like the shooters and not really wanting to give some of the the scary stuff as much of a try. So it's a little bit of suddenly handing the controller over, and it was just not as much like downtime for like exploring. It's a little bit more chaotic in the encounters.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's probably not something we'll end up playing any more of, but it was worth checking out at least a little bit. I don't know if we'll find something else at this point. And then
Yeah. Well,
I've been playing more.
what is it called? Limbo and the other one. What's it called?
Yeah, I've played Limbo, and then there's what is it, Inside?
Yeah, Inside and Limbo. If she hasn't played that, those are fun games and they have a little bit of a horror vibe to them.
Yeah, but that's just not really. Brie likes modern, like high resolution type of games. Like she's not really much for like a side-scrolling platformer.
Okay. Yeah, I would say Little Nightmares, but that's more side-scrolling platformer as well.
Yeah, just I don't know. Everybody's got, kind of their bag. One thing I was considering though is maybe going back and trying to play Night in the Woods again. That's kind of way up there on games that I've always really wanted to play, and I just visually have always been very pulled to that game. I think I tried it once before for like an hour or so and just
Oh,
wasn't really in the mood for a story, but that's like a fall game that I might try to get into myself.
she would like Medium. The medium?
medium.
Yeah, she would like the medium, I think. It's like there's enough exploring. There's some ghost components to it. There's a lot of flashbacks. It's a really good story. I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but it's a very good story overall. And there is a little bit of hunting type deal in there, but not as much as like that would worry you, right? Like it kind of gets to a certain point and it's very far and in between the hunting aspect of you being hunted by something. But yeah, I think that's one that you guys would like. It's spooky. It's got good storyline tied to it. It's got some really cool mechanics where you kind of split between this like world of death as the medium and kind of being able to see into that like world of the dead, and then your normal state of where you are. And it's got some puzzles built in, um, good mechanics overall in the game. Like I felt pretty good with the
See,
controls.
w- one of my biggest issues though right now, especially with games like that, because the other thing that we immediately jumped to was Silent Hill 2,
Oh yeah,
but
that'd be a natural one.
that's on PS5. So that's kind of always been my issue is like I've got the Series S years ago, got Game Pass. I've had a really good run with it. We're going to talk about Xbox tonight a little bit more, but I don't want to spend money on digital games for my Series S.
Isn't a
Like
medium
I wanted
on digital or Game Pass or no?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't remember seeing it on
Oh,
there.
okay. All right. Well,
But it's like if I'm going to get a game, I'm just going to wait until I get a PS5. Like that's what I've been doing with every game except for what did I buy? I bought Elden Ring and Space Marine 2.
mhm.
And I guess Silksong, but Silksong was like no, Silksong's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just don't want to waste money on my Xbox. I just want to get a PS5. And honestly, as expensive as they are right now, maybe we'll get one for like Black Friday or something while they're on sale actually.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So other than that, I've been playing more Silksong. I realized that it's been like it's been a month or more now that I've been trying to beat this game and I'm only probably a little around halfway through. I beat my head against a few different walls this week. So there was Trobio. He's this like flamboyant magician dancing bug boss that you have to fight, and it's just such a pain. There's so much chaos going on screen. He's throwing all these fireworks and these like bouncing balls that explode, and it's hard to do. I went through a whole thing this week because there's this item called the cog flies that you get, and it's basically like little beetles that you throw out and then they help you by attacking and just kind of doing extra damage. So it's gonna is free passive extra damage to deal to bosses just to make it faster. But I got all the way to them through like all this jumping platforming and wouldn't you know it, I did not have the materials to be able to construct them. So then I went off to try to find the materials to construct them, and I had already used like all the easily accessible ones on the map. So in order to get one of those, I needed to go get another traversal ability, which is like the double jump. It's called the Fade Down Cloak. And to get that, you have to go through this whole freaking mountain platforming challenge where you're timed because if you're out in the cold too long, you start to freeze and you lose your health pretty quickly. And there's only like a couple of benches that you unlock along this like crazy path. So it must have taken me like 2 or 3 like sit down sessions to like actually be able to beat that platforming challenge, to go back and get the cog flies, to still get my ass kicked by the same boss. So I did a bunch of stuff. I made a little bit of progress, but I don't know. And it's a totally optional boss. Like I can literally get to either side of the room that he's in. And most of the bosses in the game, there is no reward. Like you don't get experience or money or a new ability or anything. Most of the bosses, you just fight the boss because you can or have to or want to. So at this point, like I'm running around, I'm doing challenges, I'm trying to like unlock more like health bar and things like that, hoping that that'll make it a little bit better. I know there's a ton more equipment and stuff that you can get, which is kind of fun too, because like there's so many different builds and items that you can use, and trying to get away from the few that I've been using basically like the whole time, I think is better. I don't know. I'll keep going at it. We'll see how long I actually take to beat the game or give up.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the podcast, right? That's your shtick on our podcast is
My shtick.
not finishing games. So we'll see.
Not finishing games.
You got Dead Space and Silksong. By the way, when are you starting Metal Gear Solid? Like
I mean, it's November now, so this is about the time.
I feel like I'm gonna finish up Witcher before you finish up Metal Gear Solid. It might be you on punishment row here in a sec. So we'll see.
That's never happened before,
No,
except for that one time.
Except for that one time. I think twice.
And then almost that other time.
No, I think you've had punishments twice now. Didn't you?
I don't think so.
Maybe
I
not.
think it was just the one time.
Maybe not. Okay.
And then I changed my mind or something. Something happened.
Yeah, I don't remember. But you played Blue's Clues that one time. Yep.
Mm-hmm. It was great.
Yeah.
I'd do it again.
Yeah, you do it again. We could play some more Mrs. Spider's Tea Party. We got to
not that. That wasn't our idea. That was somebody else's
I'm
idea.
going to reinstitute the Crappy Game Challenge at some point.
You can institutionalize yourself then.
Yeah, at that point I might as well, right? If I'm playing Blue's Clues and Mrs. Spider's Tea Party, all on the PlayStation 1 and in my collection for some random ass reason. So
there's supposed to be some good Bluey game out there. Maybe we could try that. That's the new gen.
Actually, I do have the Bluey game. So it's on PS5. I figured, for my son at some point, he'll pick up a controller every now and then, but he's still not coordinated enough. He's more coordinated on a 1-Up arcade, playing some Rampage. Flashback to our last week's episode where we interviewed Brian Colin, the creator of Rampage. But yeah, my son is definitely enjoying some arcade games on occasion. But something else that we are all enjoying, and I am enjoying because it's almost done, is Strixhaven. So a quick update on that. It's been a few weeks because we hadn't played in a few weeks. So just an update for those that are following our Strixhaven adventure. The group was in a swamp and was attacked by a Hydra, finished defeating a Hydra. You guys absolutely demolished that Hydra. I was kind of pissed off.
Yeah, that Hydra went so fast.
Well, like, it didn't help that one of you guys hit it with Fairy Fire. Then it was hit with, what is it? Major Image, I think it was, or Major Illusion. And so that killed a turn for it right away. And then I had 2 turns, actually, because one, I had to decipher if it was real or not. And I failed, which then took me to the next turn as a creature where I had to go ahead and attack it to determine, yes, it is in fact fake, and then go ahead and unleash my attacks afterwards. That, and it didn't help that I kept rolling low against you guys. So that was a negative for me.
I rolled so bad.
Yeah, you rolled bad as well, but not as bad as a Hydra. Hydra's rolling like 4s. Look, I had at 1.6 attacks and I landed 1. So I should have put legendary abilities on the Hydra. I didn't do that. I figured, it's a Hydra. You guys will, it's 150, 180 HP. Should be okay. No, you guys destroyed it. It was terrible. But it's fine. It ate up some time. It stayed within the plot points that I had, and it worked out. So after all of that was said and done, you all kind of went off your separate ways to do your things. At night, we sped into the night, and your character had a dream-like state. It was either a dream or it wasn't. You don't know 100%. But you ended up meeting up with a member of the Auric, which you recognize as Max, which is one of your fellow companions earlier in the campaign who had his arm chopped off by a mage hunter, and everything was unveiled. You had learned that
I've been very anti-Auric this whole campaign.
And then I just unveiled to you like the whole siege at the in the beginning of the campaign where you all were attacked by mage hunters, and the Auric killed Seeker and he blew up and came back. And then it was revealed to you that they had to kill Seeker to be able to actually save his life, and that they were fighting against the mage hunters, but memories were wiped of all the professors on campus. And so there was no way for you to actually truly know what was happening. Your thought was just, hey, they went ahead and, tried to kill us and they killed Seeker. So you guys saw that. And then there were some other memories that I had shown for you to look at. Oh no, it was, another memory was one of your most trusted professors getting her memory wiped by an individual of high class who has influence over the university. And then you learn that Fez's dad is also part of his group, which pissed off Fez's character. So you had that, and then you all ran off after you learned all of that component. You chatted with two of the professors who said, "Hey, we can't do anything about Murgaxtor. He has some sort of spell that's been cast that certain people are not able to find him, and also anybody that had food and drink last year on the campus, it's going to be rare that they did not." Is likely contaminated with some sort of ichor that is now in their system that would allow him to steal life force. And you guys are like, well, did we really have to do this? Can we, like, I think your character specifically said, I'm just going to transfer. It's like, okay, doesn't matter if you transfer because he's going to conquer this area and then he's going to conquer the rest after he becomes immortal. So yeah, our Voldemort clone in the form of a bullywog. That's what's going on with him. And then as you all went to the Badlands, which is where you anticipate Murgaxor to be, you came face to face with a creature that has eye stalks all around, kind of like a beholder, but you're not 100% sure, as well as kites. So the creature,
beholder?
a beholder. You have kites flying above that their intestines were holding them to these like towers, and they zipped back into their systems and they were flying down to attack you, and you guys ended on initiative. So
yeah, that's gonna be
that'll be fun.
One brutal fight.
Oh, that one, yeah. That's so there's two options for what I selected. It is the standard option, and then there is the boss option. And you better know what I selected on that. So you guys are fighting a boss, legendary actions, all of that good stuff is going to be coming with that one. But yeah, I think, I don't know, like, what's your perspective on finally?
Well, we're max level now.
Sort of. You guys are what, level 9, I think?
Yeah, isn't that where it stops?
No. I mean, you guys can get to level 10 before the final battle.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think
All
you
right,
got
I
one
thought
more.
we were max level. So yeah, level 9. I mean, we're in a position now where we're on our way to defeat the final boss, and I don't know. It seems like we're probably gonna die. Like, I don't, as bad as I've been rolling lately, at least I don't have a lot of confidence in my character's ability to survive. But we'll see what happens.
So based on what I shared with you and that character Max, he says, like, hey, we can only go as far back as the beginning of a school year. And we've done this so many times, but we keep dying. Right. So I've kind of got it built in that, like, if shit hits the fan on this campaign and you guys TPK, I might just be like, all right, you all awaken and you're in class in detention. And then that's where we end it, right? Like the very beginning.
Oh man.
So we could theoretically do that as an ending if you guys TPK'd, I feel. So
That's fun.
Little preview.
Thanks for ruining it.
A little preview. It could be something else. We'll see. I do think you guys are going to defeat the boss, though. Just based on what I see for stats and the ending that I kind of want to have in play, I think you guys will beat the boss. So I'm not gonna throw it, right? I'm gonna roll dice, and whatever happens with the dice, that's what happens. So you could end up in a situation where you're back in your breakfast club scenario. It could be a totally different beginning that we have for it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But if it goes,
we probably have at least a couple more sessions.
You guys have
right?
like 2 or 3 more sessions, and I have an ending in mind that I really like. I actually wrote this ending down probably about 6 months ago. I wrote down the ending for the campaign and what the end scene would be and how the characters would interact and how everything would kind of come full circle. But that's highly dependent on you guys surviving that fight. So I kind of have like a point B. That point B, like I said in the spoiler, may just be, hey, you start back at the beginning, or it could be what I would like to do. So we'll see. But I'm excited. I'm almost done. And then my wife wants to do her campaign now afterwards, which means I will not have to DM for quite some time.
There you go.
Yeah, that'll be nice. So it's a lot of prep. I don't think people understand like how much prep it takes to DM. All right.
Yeah, just because you bought a book doesn't mean that there's the workload is that light.
Well, and like AI helps it a bit. So with a lot of the stuff that we did in the last session, like I have in mind what I want to do, and I think I've talked about this. Like I have in mind what I would like the interaction to be, but I'm not going to sit there and get, hey, this character says this dialogue and this dialogue and this dialogue. Like I have AI generate that for me, and then I rework it accordingly. And then from there, once I have a good concept, I'll put that in and then I'll expand a dialogue as needed. So a lot of what you got in that talk with that character, maybe the first like 2 bits of dialogue came from AI, and then I fleshed out the rest on my own. So I use it as more of a
Yeah.
starting point, and in some instances, I'll use it for the full discussion. It just is highly dependent on what my goals are in that interaction. For this particular piece, I wasn't going to rely on AI because I had all of these other components that were callbacks to earlier in the campaign that AI is not going to know. So I had to build those components in. So like the siege that happened and Seeker dying and blowing up and all those other things and the interactions of like the timeline. AI is not getting any of that in there. I have to do that myself.
Yeah.
So those are the things I build in. But AI does a very good job of at least helping me generate the overall encounter and more of a scenery, right? So a lot of what you heard of, yeah, and some of it was actually me as well. But like, you enter and you're in this tower now, and there's these books that come around you, and you see this light at the end of a tunnel, and it envelops you, and this voice out of the darkness begins to talk. Like all of those things are kind of a mix of me and AI. But for the most part, I get a lot of those like descriptions from AI, and then have it built in so I can read it out to you in a different manner than me just like
Yeah.
randomly talking about it. I think it does a pretty decent job to set the tone. So
I think so.
yeah. All right. On to Xbox. So the next Xbox apparently is not going to be cheap. This comes from Sarah Bond at Microsoft, who said that is a very premium, high-end, next-generation experience that's going to be coming out. And this comes to us from Windows Central, actually. So kind of coincidental, Windows Central and Microsoft. But really, I think the biggest thing to get out of here is there's been a lot of talk of, is it Microsoft's last console? Are they going to go in a different direction where maybe it's just devices hooking up to TVs? Are they going third party, similar to like the ROG Ally and what they did there? It sounds like it could be anything at this point. So Sarah referenced back to the ROG Ally in the statements that were made, and saying that, hey, look, the next console that comes out for Xbox, it's going to be a premium product. It's going to be curated specifically for gamers that are looking for that experience, and it is going to be a next gen experience, right? And so that could be anything. It could be a PC that's specifically Microsoft. It could be a device that connects to TV, but it's maybe a very expensive device. It could be third party. It could just be a new Xbox, and it's just a very expensive ass Xbox. I mean, there's no true hints here, but I think the big part of his story that I would like to call out is Microsoft is already kind of in the mud right now when it comes to pricing. They've been increasing the Xbox Series X and Series S pricing so much to the point that Costco has removed it. Sam's Club, I think, removed it as well from shelves. You've also got the increase in Game Pass. So consumers right now are not happy with price increases from Microsoft. So my thought is, why the hell are you releasing a premium device that's going to be more expensive and is going to be a barrier for most of your consumers who are already angry at you? That just doesn't make any sense to me, man. So I don't know. Any thoughts in what you read or any theories you might have?
Yeah. So, um, with Xbox trying to do all these price increases now in the midst of slowing sales and then trying to make like an even more premium product, it just really, yeah, doesn't seem like the best idea. Obviously they're under a lot of pressure internally to perform big profit numbers right now, and that's a big challenge in spite of what they're facing. But they've tried the approach. Like I said earlier, I got the Series S. I thought it was a great deal. That plus Game Pass, that's been the best deal in gaming for years. And apparently it just hasn't been enough to really do what they needed to do. So now they're going to try to take the opposite approach. And, if that ends up coming to, you know, a handheld or a hybrid, I think that's probably I think a hybrid system would be the optimum. Like you're going to have the biggest area to catch with that, and if you make it, you know, more powerful and versatile while having high performance, I mean basically being what, you know, like a Super Switch 2 but for Xbox, that's probably going to be their best bet to be able to charge a high price, because like you're only really going to get whales and diehard Xbox fans buying this next product. Like nobody's just going to really get it on a whim. I mean, there's not really a reason to get an Xbox, especially if you can play it on PlayStation. Um, it's really going to be for people who want a very specific set of games, very optimized and maybe pushing performance to a level that you can't get anywhere else. I just don't see that being something that's going to be very successful, and I think it's probably going to be, you know, the last time they try doing something like this, especially when they're out competing themselves with their everything is an Xbox. Like you can't succeed at both. I don't think. I don't think you can try to tell everybody that your TV's already an Xbox and all you need is a controller and a subscription, and then also try to sell those people a premium $1,000 device that they seemingly don't even need, and you aren't even really trying that hard to sell. And I had done kind of a lookup. I couldn't find exactly where the sourcing was. I just found like a Reddit post. But if they are going like the PC handheld, this was from like 8 months ago, saying the PC handhelds have sold 6 million to date, all combined. Steam Deck's at about like 4 million of that. So if you're talking something that less than 5 million people are going to buy, like that's just, you'd have to charge crazy numbers and have, you know, very measured levels of success to make that your business model, and just none of that seems reasonable for them right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of think about this too, like let's just say release a premium console that can be upgraded with a new GPU and stuff similar to computer. At that point, why not just get a computer? Right? Like why not just build it on your own or go to what's it called? Micro Center and have them build you something that's going to be a higher end product that's got all the customizations and LED or RGB, like everything that you want, right? Like why go to Microsoft route just because it's got the label at that point? Are they trying to make this like Apple?
Well, and what's that even worth?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like what is it even worth? Because if you're putting all that together, like you can go to Micro Center right now and pick like I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Okay, let's put it together. Micro Center will charge you a couple $100 to build it. If you don't want to build it, okay, you know, you take that out, but you get a warranty and things like that that are tied to it. I forget how long the warranty is, but it's your product. You make it what you want it to be, and you have the ability to do anything on there, right? So let's just say Microsoft releases this, and it's a premium product that plays Steam games and it plays Game Pass, and maybe it has like some AI features and things like that. Is that worth a premium price compared to if you just built your own computer? And then you would still
Well,
have
and
Game Pass, and you would still have Steam, and you would have Epic Game Store, and you would have the ability to download games directly to your system, upgrade your hard drive for probably a far cheaper price point, upgrade your GPU for probably a cheaper price point because it wouldn't have to be like a Xbox specific GPU or something that's been created. So I think that this is going to push your normal consumer out. It is going to be a higher price product. You're going to have your standard consumers that are going to save up money to try and purchase this, similar to like what they would do for an iPhone. Um, but at the end of the day, I just don't see it being worth it unless, as part of this like premium package that you get, maybe Game Pass is bundled in for free. Right. And so you kind of look at it from that aspect of, well, I'm saving $30 a month, by purchasing a, $1,000 plus console, something along those lines. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing some things out there and some numbers out.
yeah, I mean, they're going to have to figure out some more stuff with that, just because with Xbox, you have to pay to play online. and with PC you don't. So if you're accessing like Xbox and PC all in one device, it's going to be pretty stark difference between, all right, do I want to buy this game on Steam where I can just play it, or do I want to buy this game on the Xbox store where I also need a subscription to be able to play it online?
Yeah.
And, if you're trying to gather either 100% sales or a portion of the sales, like that's the other thing. If it's like a PC handheld where you just have full access to everything, like Xbox isn't getting a cut of those sales from what you're buying when you're accessing like the Steam store. It's not like when it's in their own garden and you're buying it through their store and they're getting the cut.
Yeah. Well, I guess time will tell. But one of the reasons that this is all occurring that we're finding out is a rumor recently, and it was released. I think it was Bloomberg actually is the one that unveiled this. But apparently, Microsoft has been cracking down on these like absurd profit margins that they're trying to hit. So within the industry, we were reading that the standard profit margin for video games or video game industry is about 17 to 22% profit margins. Microsoft has been sitting at around 10 to 20% this generation on the Xbox, but they had goals of 30% profit margins. Well, how do you get profit margins? Well, you make them by cutting jobs. That's one thing. You do it by closing studios. You do it by canceling projects that are going to run you millions of dollars. And you also do it by, well, hey, guess what? Increasing prices would be another piece of that as well to try and get those profit margins. A lot of this comes from that Activision Blizzard acquisition. What was it, 70 billion or 69 billion dollar acquisition that happened with that, and they're trying to get the ROI. Meanwhile, the CEO is making $96 million a year on stock. I think his 92% of his salary is based on stock, and like 8% is an actual salary. But
Yeah, I mean, the amount that they're trying to push them to earn is just going to wind up destroying so much like gaming culture and history and studios. Like there's going to be so much IP that's eventually going to get just locked away and never looked at again because of these moves. Like, I mean, they were how far into making the Perfect Dark remake game and just decided to like shutter all that. And it's like, okay, well, who else is ever going to risk that much money on making something when you were the ones who were supposed to believe in it the most and actually push for that? And, if you give up on it, nobody's really going to reach into that basket, offer you a boatload of money for that IP, and then pay to carry, that all the way across the finish line 10 years out when it's now, been 30 years since anybody's played a Perfect Dark game and really liked it. So much of what they thought that they were going to get out of these deals, they're just shooting themselves in the foot, and they're never going to make that return on investment if they're going to keep driving everything this way and being just totally unreasonable. Especially like I I guess you can't, rob Peter to pay Paul, but I mean, when you're making as much money as Microsoft is making, you can let Xbox do its thing. Like it's really not hurting you to let Xbox do its thing.
and here's the thing, like they've been hitting profit margins, right? Like 10 to 20%. So you're already making profit. You're just not making as much profit as you want to make.
It's got to be all the money, John, all the money.
Like, I mean, you're going 10% above your highest profit margin, 8% above the industry standard in what your goal is. And that's just, I get it. They're
If
trying
you
to,
hit 30%, Nintendo would be asking you questions.
that's a good point. Nintendo might actually sue Microsoft for making more profit than they do. Um, yeah, I mean, look, I thought Nintendo was the anti-consumer company. Microsoft might be taking that one pretty soon, the way that they're going with this. I mean, like
Mhm.
you said, um, killing some of the gaming culture is tied into it. The closures, IPs potentially locked away if they don't want to go that route and waste that money. It's yeah, it's right now. It's making not that gaming has not been corporate, but this is a very corporate approach to gaming, more so than I think we've seen in the past. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Xbox is no longer really at the heart and control of itself. It's basically just now the puppet arm of Microsoft that it probably always was, but it just was less visibly out there and less
Microsoft had a soul,
I don't know,
or
something's
not,
changed.
not a soul. Xbox had a little bit of a soul, right? In like its own thing. And now it's okay, you guys haven't hit the numbers we want. Corporate's kind of coming in and taking over that wing, right? Of the business. So yeah, kind of sucks. But uh I mean it's business, that's what happens, and that's why we like to support indies as much as we can. Right. So okay.
Well, speaking of just business,
Yeah.
after Sony rejected a Horizon Zero Dawn collab, Tencent tried to pitch a new The Last of Us game instead. This comes from Anthony McGlynn, also at Windows Central. Oh, wait, no, that was the wrong link. Why was that in there? At Games Radar.
Yeah.
So basically, at one point in the past, this is kind of all coming out because of the lawsuit between Sony
This is
and
in it's
Tencent.
in court documents, basically. This
Yeah.
detail.
Yeah. So this is all coming out because of the Light of Motrum thing. Uh, Basically, they really wanted to make a Horizon game and they tried to pitch Sony on it, and Sony said no. And they were very upset about that. And they countered, they were like, hey, you know what? Forget about that. Why don't you come back over to China? We're going to sit down. We're going to talk to you. We've got an idea for The Last of Us that you're going to love. And they got there and they wound up showing them more stuff about wanting to do a Horizon game. And now there's a lawsuit with the Light of Motrum. So it's just so interesting what actually comes out when you do get these little glimpses inside because of lawsuits. But it's I don't know. We talked about this a few weeks ago, and I still think it's a stretch to call it a slavish recreation, but it is definitely Sony doing their best to defend their IP and try to stay, I guess, solely in control and be less collaborative with their IP, which is fine. I mean, seemingly what these games were originally probably proposed for would have been like a mobile game, um which Sony maybe doesn't want to spend the money on a mobile game but wants to be able to reap that benefit, get in all that extra money and be able to cash in on all those IPs, and who knows why they eventually decided not. I mean, these negotiations are probably very money driven, and if you're just wanting to charge too much for the IP, or you're not willing to give enough creative control over this, it's probably just not worth pursuing because it's going to cost so much time and energy and money. And apparently if you already have a lot of that time and energy and money injected into a pitch such as this Project Z that they were working on, that was this really kind of their version of doing something with Horizon. I mean, once you've got all that sunk cost, if they say no to the license, I mean, that's where the Light of Motrip comes from, because now it's just like, all right, well, we'll just spin it off into our own thing since we already kind of made this vertical slice. Like, why waste all that time and energy?
Well, I mean, I would question why the hell the time and energy was even wasted to begin with to build something out, hoping that Sony would be
It
open
was a
to
sure thing, John.
it. I
They
guess it was.
knew that it was going to be a sure thing.
I just love the whole like trap component here, right? Like, hey, we want to talk to you about this other project. All right, we'll go out there. And no, we just want to keep talking about the thing that you already said no to. Maybe you'll
Right.
say yes this go round. I think it's honestly a little hilarious the way it kind of played out. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of questioning in general, like, why did Tencent even want to do this type of collaboration? Like, why did they want to? I mean, is it because they're highly popular games and they thought they might be able to get a cut out of this? Like, what in their mind made sense to say, yeah, Sony, would totally be open to working with a third party studio that isn't Naughty Dog to take something and rework it, or isn't a Guerrilla Games to do another Horizon game. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me why they would think that that would even be entertained when Sony has the resources to do these things of other studios,
Well,
like
and
internally, that is.
yeah, I don't see why the the Horizon at all, because I mean, I've not played the Horizon games. I know people that have played them do like them, and they're like pretty impressive, but just from the outside, I don't see a lot of the appeal with it beyond just like cool robot dinosaurs. I just
It's good gameplay
I
and a
don't
good
know.
story.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
and it's
fine, but
open
like
world post apocalyptic.
yeah, but that's the thing, is like that's just such an everywhere genre right now. I feel like of all of the big like open world collectathon, map marker driven games, the Horizon series is the one that's like pushed the most, but I hear the least about. Like, I've heard positive things about them. It's not like they're unknown games, but they're just like, I don't know. I feel like they're pushed more by Sony than they're really as well received by kind of the general mass audience. Like, it doesn't have a whole lot of adopters in that way. Whereas like The Last of Us is like huge. I mean, it's on HBO. They remade the first one twice already. Like, I
Well,
I feel like it's obvious why they would have wanted to pitch The Last of Us. I don't so much see why they were so dead set on pitching, you know, a Horizon title.
well, I think, you kind of bring up a point of a comparison between, I mean, you can't really compare the two, right? In the sense of The Last of Us is a very story driven game, with quite a bit of dialogue, and it feels like you're playing a movie, right? Whereas Horizon is that open adventure, the ability to do tons of side quests, to explore a post-apocalyptic world, and unveil parts of that world and build out the story, but not in the same manner, right? Like, it feels very much, like, I'm not saying it's like a Fallout or an Oblivion or anything like that, but the style of gameplay feels very much like that, right? You go to certain towns, certain areas, you meet people, you kill certain enemies, you collect things, you go back and forth, and you progress with your side quests and your main quests like you would in that style of game. So, I would say, having played the first Horizon, I haven't played Forbidden West yet. I'm waiting for a price drop with the complete version. Um, it's a great game. Like, it is a very good game, and it has solid gameplay. It has solid graphics. It's got a solid story tied into it. It's got solid lore. The enemy encounters are fun. I will say it gets to a certain point where some enemy encounters feel very similar with some of the like side quest stuff. But for the most part, like, everything feels unique in that world, and it's a very good game. So I could see why um, Tencent would be interested from that perspective, but it goes back to my initial thing. I don't see what was going through your mind to say, yeah, Sony would agree to doing something like this with a third party that is, external from Sony. So, all right. Let's enough of that, sir. Let's get into, as you stated earlier in the podcast, we have a Dino Crisis on our hands. So this was on the PS1. It was developed by Capcom Production Studio 4, published by Capcom, directed by Shinji Mikami, friend of a podcast. Not just kidding, not friend of a podcast. It is a survival horror game with a reception of 8 out of 10 on average. Ryan, what is Dino Crisis all about?
On a remote island research facility, 365 million years of terror is unleashed. You play as Regina, a member of the SORT team, sent to Ibis to retrieve Dr. Edward Kirk. While developing a resource known as Third Energy, Dr. Kirk managed to create a space-time rift, bringing dinosaurs and the present together. You must find a way to complete your mission if you can survive. So this is Resident Evil on an island with dinosaurs.
In fact, it comes
It's
with a Resident Evil 3 Nemesis demo disc on the PS1.
yeah, it's pretty straightforwardly, a tank controlling Resident Evil game, although it doesn't have like the oh, I can't remember the name of it, but like it's got actual 3D backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're not just kind of walking across a beautiful PNG image. It does have those same drastic camera changes and tank controls. It's a very aggressive horror game too. So the enemies in this game are notably more adversarial than like slow shambling zombies. You actually have to be on your toes and mobile while fighting in this game. I've heard that it's pretty challenging. I didn't really make it very far enough to be able to make that kind of assess it myself, but I know that the easy mode, you get like a shotgun and a grenade launcher off the bat, and it's really more of a breezy playthrough because they wanted everybody who bought the game to be able to finish it, which is respectable and definitely a bit more forward thinking for a game of this era, especially when the original play mode is pretty challenging, but it's a good looking game. uh Everybody likes dinosaurs. Yeah.
Yeah, so I played on easy mode, and I will say that it was definitely much easier. Um, so control wise, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you kind of get used to that tank style control where you're pressing forward to walk forward, pressing back to walk back, and then left to turn, and then forward, like it's very clunky in that respect. But once you get used to it, it's pretty good. I will say that the shooting piece is a little difficult when you come across dinosaurs, mainly just because it's a clunky control to begin with. So it's like if you're trying to, have your gun out and then also trying to move around, it is a little difficult and slow. So you can't dash with a gun in your hand. You have to put the gun away, dash, refire, things of that nature. But I did get about 45 minutes in. I saved it because I thought it was pretty good and what I played. But it, I mean, it's a horror game. I mean, that's one thing. But it doesn't feel as scary, right? Because it's dinosaurs versus like Silent Hill to me, like even Silent Hill 1, like a creature coming out of nowhere and attacking you, or, a PS2 horror game, like when we were playing Siren. Siren to me was even creepier than this. I mean, it's just you happen to be on an island with dinosaurs in the dark, and I didn't get any jump scares from it. Maybe I would, like, I think there's like a T-Rex scene or something later in the game that scares people pretty well. But um, with the easy mode, you're right. I did have a shotgun. I did have a handgun. One of the more hilarious moments for me is when I came across the first dinosaur in battle and I shot with the handgun. It was kinda still sitting on the ground. I'm like, "Is it dead? Like, can I interact with it?" And it attacked my leg, and I'm just, like, shaking off a dinosaur, the leg and then reshot it, and knocked it out. But, uh, that was probably the hilarious moment. Beyond that, it's like any other horror game, I feel, of this style. You're going through air vents, you're trying to find codes to open certain doors. Meanwhile,
Keys.
there's
It's
yeah,
all about keys. If you're
keys,
ever find yourself in a horror scenario, just look for keys
lots
because
of
you're gonna
keys.
need them.
Um with the like once you find your keys and start unlocking your different doors and going to different places, some of the characters you'd interact with. What's really funny, by the way, is there's three characters at the start. I think Gail, this main
Regina
yeah, Regina, and then I forget the other character's name, but she goes,
Junior.
is it a he or a she? I couldn't.
I don't know. He calls him Junior, and then he gets mad.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. My wife was like, "It's a woman." And I'm like, "It looks like a guy," but I don't know. It's difficult for PS1 game because of the graphics, and the audio on this game isn't that great either, unfortunately. But so that character goes into a room, and so you kind of do your whole thing with Gale, and then Gale disappears, and you're like, "Oh yeah, Gale got attacked by a dinosaur," and the character's like, "Wait, what? Like attacked by dinosaurs? It's crazy. It's unbelievable." I'm like, "How did you make it all the way to this room without seeing a dinosaur, first off? And that character is in a control room with cameras everywhere. So I'm how did you not see a dinosaur in this entire period of time that you're there?" and still kind of doubting it as well when you chat with them. So I don't know. That was a little weird to me, but overall, I agree. 8 out of 10 here on the game. It feels pretty good. It's got some good horror elements to it. The gameplay overall, despite the clunky controls, is pretty decent, and it's got a good story for it for what I played.
Yeah, this is one of those games that is highly in demand when people think about remakes.
Yes.
There's been lots of rumors and stuff. There was that game that Capcom made a few years ago where it's like you're fighting like waves of dinosaurs that just kind of like spill out of like a waterfall of dinosaurs that just spill out of a hole in the sky, but you're like in these weird like robot exosuits or something. I think Exoprimal is the name of the game.
Hmm.
But like everybody was thinking that was going to be some kind of Dino Crisis thing. So it's very well remembered. It's a game that a lot of people would like to see remade. I would like to see, a modern day take on this.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to see a Dino Crisis remake. I think it's only 3 games. I think the most recent one was on the original Xbox. Um, and yeah, I mean, I this is definitely deserving of a remake or at least a remaster at bare minimum. But I think in this day and age, you're looking at remakes, and I think Capcom in general is looking towards more remakes right now. Isn't that part of their strategy? Is going to remake
Yeah.
route? Yeah, I mean, I think this is right in line. I'm pretty sure it was. I thought this was announced actually as an option for them. I'm just gonna look this one up too now since I got the PC here. Oh, I forgot to mention all my pickups. Hold on, I'll show you in a minute. Dino Crisis remake. Let's see. Capcom has attempted to remake internally. Both projects were canceled. However, a fan-made remake called Dino Crisis Rebirth is available, and the original games have been re-released on PC and PlayStation. Yeah. Oh, sorry. So pickup. I actually returned that keyboard that I got and picked up a different keyboard. But this
Nice.
one, literally right here, you can install like GIFs on there, so I could literally have like a taco cat flying. So just kind of throwing it out there.
Are you going to? You going to make a taco cat?
No, I'm probably not, but I could.
Make a Game Deflators GIF.
I should. That'd be pretty cool. But this the little knob that was on the other one, it actually allows me to control. Like I can do it. Actually, there's one of the things, but I can do the time on here. There you go. You see that little animation on the screen?
Barely.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I understand it.
It's
It
right
does
there,
stuff.
Ryan. It's right there. It does stuff. But yeah, I can. It's easier to customize like your lighting and stuff on the keyboard versus the other one. I had to like press the knob and guess, and there's shortcuts that you receive. This is just very much like, all right, cool. Turn the little knob, find what you want, switch your settings out because you have a screen to actually see what you're doing. And it's also a different configuration. I think the other one was 99 keys. This one is 104. So it does have like better placement of like the delete key and the backspace and enter is very much what I'm used to compared to, the keyboard that I had grabbed initially. But all right, but I digress. Back to Dino Crisis, Ryan. So brass tacks on it is complete in box 6114 right now. It peaked at 6650 in June of 2025. That's trending up. A loose copy will run you at 2749. That peaked at 3571 in September of 2024. That is trending down. Digital, you can get it $4.99 on the PlayStation Network or in PlayStation Plus. PC, you can get it for $9.99. And then you can also get on Dreamcast if you want for $50 loose and $75.39 complete in box. I hate to call this game inflated, but I know it is technically speaking inflated.
Yeah, I mean, I would feel really good about this as like a $20 game.
Oh, I wouldn't go
Maybe
that low. I'd go like 40. Like,
oh, are you talking loose or complete in box?
oh no, I'm talking complete in box. Yeah. So loose, you would go 20 on this?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know. I completed box $61, like that's basically like you're buying it brand new when it came out.
Yeah, I mean,
So basically it's kind of like held its value, which is respectable. I mean, it is a legendary game. It's a good game. It's got good ratings. Eh,
I mean,
I feel like 40-45 bucks would be good complete in box, and probably 20 would be good loose. Like, just because it's a good game doesn't mean it isn't inflated.
yeah, I mean, we might have to start looking at, kind of a current landscape of some of these
I mean,
games, 'cause,
considering
like,
this game was $10 basically until 5 years ago, and now it's worth like almost 3 times that much. Like, that's a
six.
little bit higher than just regular inflation, I would say.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything got blown up in price, but that's kind of the current market, right? I think if you were to compare $60 to a new release at $60 today, yeah, you're gonna have better graphics and all that comes with it. But you're still getting a game. It's still playable. Like, the graphics are still good. I had it booted up in the PS3 and on a 4K OLED today, and it looked great. So the sound wasn't the best, but that's easy to fix. You just increase the volume. So, I mean, it's one of those. So if I didn't have this game, okay, and I did not want to look around in the wild for it and try and just find a good deal, I would pay $60 for it. If I really
Yeah.
wanted to play Dino Crisis, I'd pay $60. Is it worth like 40
I mean,
bucks?
if you really wanted to play Dino Crisis, you'd pay $10 for it on PC.
Well, then I have to play it on PC. Or I would play it if I really wanted to add it in my collection, I guess I should say. I would pay $60. If I really want to add the original complete in box demo disc for Resident Evil, manual, it's a cool cover. Just
I bet
saying.
it's got a good manual. I actually didn't look at the manual for this one. I bet it's good.
It is a cool cover. That is for sure. I'll stay with you though. I'll say inflated because technically even $60 is deflated, right? Or less than the 61. If you want to play this game, of course, the best route to go would be to get it for the $4.99 on the PlayStation Network, and just picking up the license to be able to play it on there. I'm assuming it's a license and you don't own the game. But at $4.99, you can't beat that. I mean,
Yeah.
you can, but there's methods that we won't talk about to do that. So yeah, inflated, I suppose. And that covers our spooky month. I think this is the first year ever in the podcast that we've actually gone through spooky month correctly.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure. I don't think we've done like a actual, like, I don't know, maybe we have. We've done this a long time now.
Long enough to forget.
Yeah, we got to figure out November now. It's Thanksgiving time, so are there like games about pie and I don't know,
God, we can only hope.
Thanksgiving and stuff? Pumpkins? Could play like the Nightmare Before Christmas game technically.
We did that.
We did? Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
We did that a long time ago.
We did that when I lived in.
And that's a better Christmas game than a Thanksgiving game.
Well, hey, look, it's in between. It's both Christmas and it's Halloween. So we meet in the middle and it's November. It makes sense. It really doesn't. All right. We'll come back to y'all with the game that we want to play in November. We'll figure that out. But until then, this has been episode 365 of the Game Deflators podcast. My name is John.
I'm Ryan.
And thanks for listening and watching.